Hello and welcome, I am Deltia from deltiasgaming.com, and in this video we are going to talk about resource management per individual class. So I'm going to go through each class in the game and show you how to balance resource, magicka, stamina, even self-healing, and maybe some outside skills if your class is deficient. So right now we're going to start off with the Dragonknight as I show you how I manage resources on this class. So the Dragonknight lives and breathes by using ultimates. Why is that? If you go to the Earth and Heart ability, a lot of you have heard me say this in a lot of different videos, but it's worth saying again. Dragonknight is all about Battle Roar. Activating ultimate restores health, magic, and stamina. It says by 70% of the ultimate's cost. So essentially, this means if you use a 250 ultimate cost, let's say Dragonknight Standard, you almost get 11,000 stats back. 11,000 health, 11,000 magic, and stamina. But the trick is to balance this. So Dragoknights need to constantly generate ultimate in order to get stats back quickly. A couple different ways you can do this. One is take the passive Mountain's Blessing. Activating Earth and Heart's ability gives you 3 ultimate. You can do this every 6 seconds, so roughly 10 ultimate every 10 seconds or so. Excuse me, you know what I'm saying. Dang it. 5 ultimate. Also a light attack every 8 seconds will generate some. And then also there's some specific skills that will do the same. Heroic Slash. This will give you extra ultimate. So using this ability over 8 seconds combined with your light attack combined with your Earth and Heart ability will generate a lot of the ultimate. You can also use the two-hander ability here. The Cleave has a morph that generates ultimate. Essentially, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. So what I recommend for getting massive amount of stats back as a Dragonknight is focus your builds around ultimates and drop them frequently. Also, I like to have an ultimate that's a 250 cost, like this, Standard of Might, and then maybe a cheap ultimate like Ferocious Leap, 125. Reason being, there's going to be sometimes you're going to be in between that 100 to like 220 range, and an oh crap moment's going to happen where you need resources or you die, thus everyone else dies. So for me, I really like a high-end ultimate cost like Ardent Flame Dragonknight Standard and a low-end cost. Alright, so that's the basic premise behind the Dragonknight resources. Now, specifically stamina is through Green Dragon's Blood. This gives you major fortitude, major endurance, increasing your stamina generation by 20% for 23 seconds. Green Dragon's Blood, you've seen it, the beating heart, looks like this. It lasts a long time. It gives us tons and tons of stamina generation. That's great. But there's really nothing in here that generates magic. Now you do have Sea of Flames, which gives you a trivial amount of magic every time an enemy is killed using the ability. And then you have some other things that, you know, self-heal you. Deep Breath here, the other morph, is almost a free ability because you get magic back based on the numbers that you hit. But the deficiency in the Dragonknight is magic regeneration. So how do you solve this? 1, you can center your builds around Earth and Heart. 2, you can go into the old Mages Guild and get Equilibrium. Equilibrium basically sacrifices like a tons of health, but you do get magic back. The trick here with this is you can't heal yourself for 4 seconds, but someone else can heal you. So ideally, if you're running with a group and you're facing a fight that's going to last really long, to use this. Another thing you can do is use a lot of Mages Guild abilities. Why? Mages Guild abilities have these handy-dandy passives that increase your max magic and max recovery. Also, I go with the Atronach Munda Stone as well. So that way it gives me some boost to magic recovery. And then in my champion points, I go heavily into, now this is a tank build, my normal Dragonknight build, I go heavily into the Magician, and then the Arcanist. So whatever it is, I just want you guys to understand with the Dragonknight specifically, it's all about ultimates. It's all about ultimates. Build your stuff around that because you get health, magic, and stamina, no matter what a thing you are. Last thing I want to talk about, Dragonknights, the Earth and Heart, I keep saying it, I'm going to keep on saying it. It is the most important skill line to use these all the time. Last thing is, you can get 5%, where is it? 5% of your max stamina using an Earthen Heart ability. So sometimes you'll see me just spamming Igneous Shields just to get back stamina. So if I dodge roll, look, boom, 546 stamina right there. So you basically can trade magic for stamina 5% at a time. So the way I build my Dragoknights, especially a tank, is high magic recovery and then trade my magic for stamina that way. So those are some helpful tips to manage your resources as a Dragoknight. On to the Nightblade. Now on to the ultra powerful resource management Nightblade. You're going to ask me what those 3 green orbs are around. That's Hircines, a special set bonus that you can find in dungeons. Alright, so speaking of Nightblades, they have ridiculous resources, ways to generate resources. The number one way is siphoning attacks. It's basically a toggled on ability that gives you basic 3% on attacks, magic, and stamina, and a chance to restore 15% of your max magic and stamina. It's crazy. Also, it lowers, so basically you're trading, lowering your weapon and spell damage for a lot of resources. You also want to double bar this, because if you don't, it'll turn on and off. When you double bar, it's not a problem. So the lessened spell damage kind of sucks, but you can get major spell brutality, major sorcery at spell brutality using Sap Essence. So the extra damage that it reduces can be offset to some degree with Sap Essence or another buff that you want to use. Either way, siphoning ability, you can turn on and off what you want. So if you want to do a little bit more damage, you turn it off, you're getting low in resources, then you attack. It's an incredible, credible skill. Some other things Nightblades have. So the Dragonknight has the ultimate using thing, and that's really unique to them. Other than that, though, not a lot of other things have something like that. However, the good old Nightblade, where is it? has ridiculous stamina recovery due to this passive. Increasing your stamina recovery by 30%. That is an insane amount that makes Nightblade's stamina builds incredibly powerful. Just because the default passive gives you so much. Combine that with a werewolf, combine that with a Bosmer, you're never going to run out of stamina. Not to mention, you put on your siphoning strikes or siphoning attacks when you do run out, and you are good to go. So the other abilities in here are not too much to do with gaining other resources. So once again, magic is really tied to getting siphoning attacks, also using the Mage's Guild abilities. The rest of these abilities aren't so good for getting resources back. But if you are a magic build, this is such a low cost. It's something that you can spam with almost endlessly in between attacks. So if you're doing a magic build, you can take Strife and then also put siphoning attacks and just light attack in between. You'll literally never run out of resources. All right. So I got a lot of questions of how do you heal yourself as a Nightblade, and that's a really good question because Nightblades don't have any burst healing by default. So as a stamina-based Nightblade, what I do to heal myself is using Killer's Blade, and that's going to generate a 21% max health heal if I kill the target within 2 seconds. As a finisher, it's close range, but if I get in there and start finishing off targets, 20%, 21%, that's a huge amount of self-heal. So in order to heal on a stamina-based Nightblade, you need to finish targets off. Finish them off. Another one with the same concept behind it is Reaper's Mark. Gives you 63% max health. And the mark stays on a target for 20 seconds. So if you mark a target and finish that target with Killer's Blade, you're looking at a near heal to full. So that's how I heal myself with the stamina-based build. Also, Relentless Focus, we're going to talk about this, but this gives you 10% stamina regeneration once you cast it. Amazing. Nightblades just have so many tools for generating resources. On a magic-based build, how you heal yourself, and that's pretty obvious, but you really want to use Strife. I like Funnel Health for the group utility, and then also Sap Essence. You can take the stamina-based more if you're a stamina player, but I really like this. The more enemies around, the more health you get, and so does your teammates. Really good. Also, you can use good old, let's buy it, Healing Word. Cast a huge bubble on yourself, and then when it expires, it heals you based on what's left. So you essentially can almost heal to full just using this ability. Combine that with Funnel Health, or the other morph, which a lot of people go with, Swallow Souls. I particularly like Funnel Health just because I play in groups a lot, but this gives you Major Vitality, increasing your healing received by 8%, essentially making it and anything else a stronger heal. So if you wanted to, as a Magic and Nightblade, you could put Swallowing Souls and then Sap Essence for tons and tons of self-healing. Recap. What do you want as a Nightblade? You have a lot of powerful abilities, and you're really stamina-based. You can use magic, but Nightblades really excel passively and actively on stamina, in my opinion. And then siphoning attacks, definitely want to check this out if you're a Nightblade. And remember, you can heal yourself. You just got to kill stuff first. Alright, on to the Sorky Porky. This character in class has a ton of tools. A ton for getting back magic. Even stamina now in patch 2.0. So let's look at these skills. I want to go over passives first. And almost every tree has something to do with resources. So Unholy Knowledge reduces magicka and stamina cost. That's important. And stamina cost. So you can play a stamina-based character as a Sorc. These other ones, not so much. Daedric Summoning, Expert Summoner. This is mainly to do with your pets, and the other ones don't have too much. There is something, health recovery, but look at Power Stone. Reduces the cost of ultimate ability to 15%. So if you need health, you have really, really cheap ultimates. That's why Sorcs go well with Vampire, in my opinion. Cheap, devouring swarms. Also, when one of your summoned creatures is killed or unsummoned, restore magic. Yep, more magic. Increased magic recovery by default. Wow. Yes, Sorcs are powerful. And then increased spell power per slot. Not really a resource thing, but it's awesome. Okay, so the major thing that Sorcs have over anyone else is an ability in Dark Magic. It's called Dark Conversion, is the morph I took. Regardless of the morph that you get, essentially you can trade magic for stamina and health. Or you can trade stamina for magic and health. But you channel it. So what I mean by channel is you have to sit there. So like this. So I'm trading stamina for magic. Super powerful. You almost never run out of resources. Why? Because you can sit there and channel. However, it is a DPS loss and you are vulnerable. So it's not always the ideal thing. But you have the ideal thing. Energy Overload as an ultimate. Essentially you toggle this on, giving you a third bar. And also just zapping things to restore magic. So if you hold this down, you can just deplete your ultimate and toggle it back on and be at full magic. What does this look like? Boom. You look like Emperor Palpatine here. But right there, you toggle this on, and it uses your ultimate. But you're just zapping so much stuff and getting magic back like crazy. So Energy Overload is just insane right now. It truly is. Not only that, you have other ways to get back magic and health. So this Clan Fear here, when it dies or you uncast it, you get 35% self-heal. So how people can use this is, cast it here, and you don't even have to use the thing. But if you're like in an oh crap moment, just dump it right there. That gave me 6,400 health and then 1,400 magic. So even the Clan Fears and these other things have powerful benefits. And even more proof. Summon and Restoring Twilight. Restoring Twilight gives you and nearby allies increased magic regeneration. Gives you that minor benefit, that 10% magic regeneration. So you stack this on top of that 10% by default. You go with the High Elf that gives you another 9% in combat, and you can see you're casting for days. So I think sorcerers make really good magicka, but you can still play stamina. And that's kind of the tricks that I've learned with the Sorc. Last but definitely not least, the Templar. Onto my Templar, rocking the set that produces the 3 orbs. Wormcolt. So you guys are know to ask about that. Why is a Wormcolt useful on my Templar healer? Because it reduces the magic cost of everyone in the group up to 12 members by 5%. Templar has some really interesting mechanics for resources. I think the most interesting one is one of my favorite abilities in the game, Repentance. Basically, it's a 0 cast ability. While on your bar, gives you minor fortitude, endurance, intellect, health, stamina, and magic generation by 10%. Activating this, remember it's a free thing, heals you and everyone around you for health and stamina for each corpse, 2,000. So if you have a bunch of corpses around, it basically heals everyone to full for free and max stamina. So if you're a stamina DPS, you want a Templar in the group so you can have this. So that is your major stamina thing, if you will, or ability. The other thing you want to use is Channel Focus. This is your magic-based recovery. While near the ruin, you also recover 120 magic every second. Every half second. So, if I set this down, if I stay in this little circle, I have tons and tons of magic. That's channel focused. An incredibly powerful ability. So those are two right there that give you magic and stamina. So I think the Templar has some good sustain. Moving on, there is some abilities here in the passives. Reduce magic, stamina, ultimate cost by 4%. That's pretty powerful because it's everything. And then also, some of the other passives aren't really due to resources because you have so many active abilities. Take, for instance, Luminous Shards. This is an ability where you throw a spear on the ground. You can't activate it, but someone else can. And it restores stamina and magic over 10 seconds. Someone can use this every 30 seconds, making it super useful. I mean, to be honest with you, Templars are the king and or queen of ESO resources, in my opinion, helping other people get resources, especially stamina-based users. You have something that can give magic, something that can give stamina. It's just an incredible class, and it's pretty simple to use. The best heal in the game, Breath of Life. It's easy, heals you and 2 other people, whoever has the lowest health. So it's smart healing. So if you just sit here and spam that button, you're going to heal the person that needs it the most. Incredible. Remembrance, also another really good ability. It's low cost, it's a heal, and it heals everyone, also reducing their damage by 23%. So if anyone's in this area when you clap your hands together, boom, gets that. You can also do Lingering Ritual here and combine it with, where's that passive? It gives people 2 ultimate to allies under 60% health. So I think the Templar is a jack of all trades and especially powerful for group play, considering they can give you magic and a heck of a lot of stamina, not to mention healing. Alright, so I explained all the classes briefly. I want to touch on the outside skills that you can use to get back resources. No, I'm not doing a cutscene. Alright, so Restoration Staff has Siphon Spirit, which is interesting, because each time someone hits the target that you put Siphon Spirit on, they regain health and 1% of their magic. Usually most healers will run this in a boss fight to keep up buffs. This is one of the buffs you really want. Another one you want to run is Elemental Drain. Elemental Drain restores magic if you attack with Frost, Fire, or Shock, and it reduces the spell resistance. Another buff you want to run. Now, it only gives you magic back if you're the person casting it. So most people that use Crushing Shock builds that are magic want to run Elemental Drain. Alright, moving right along, there's some resource regeneration. Dual doesn't have a whole lot, that doesn't have a whole lot, but some other unused abilities, Mystic Orb. This basically gives you instant magic when you activate this synergy. So you throw a huge orb out there, boom, it blows up, and you get back resources. Blood Altar, I don't use it, but you can activate a synergy to get back health, but I really don't use that ability. Mage's Guild, like I said earlier, this is Equilibrium's Morph Spell Symmetry, which trades health for magic and also makes the next cost cheaper. Really beneficial. Fighters Guild, not much for resources here. There's some interesting things in Alliance. I don't have Vigor, but it's a stamina-based heal. Super interesting. Caltrops is amazing, especially Razor Caltrops. And then Sturdy Horn increases everyone's max health stamina for 10%, and it lasts 36 seconds. It's an incredible ability that you can only get by PvP. Oh, did I mention it increases your armor and spell resistance? And if you take the other morph, it'll give you harder and harder crit hits. Amazing ability, especially if you're a healer. Lots of group support here. Support. Good old replenishing barrier. This is utterly amazing for a healer. A big, huge 20,000 damage ward that gives you health, or a magicka and ultimate once it pops. Definitely like this. So I think we've talked about a good amount of things where you can get resources back. In summary, Nightblade I think really goes well with stamina. Sorcs really go well with magicka. Dragoknights really can do anything due to their ultimate dropping. And then Templars are the givers of resources. Personally, I like magic Templars, but stamina are very strong. So I hope this guy helped you out. In part 3, I'm going to cover combat and actually showing you how I put it all together in some of these builds. Thank you for watching. More videos to come.